Suburban Sentinel here, along with Bella the camera cat. In this video, I will be discussing some of the legal ramifications of modifying a firearm. And specifically, we're talking about defensive firearms, one that you would be inclined to use for concealed carry or home defense. I'm not talking about range guns or plinkers or competition guns. This revolver on the screen here has been safety checked, and it looks like Bella got her feet into the shot. Anyway, consider the following scenario. Suppose that you shoot someone in self-defense or in defense of another person, and the government authority decides that your shooting was not justified, and they decide to prosecute you. In the alternative, or possibly in addition to that scenario, suppose the perpetrator you shot sues you for injuries or damages, or if he's shot dead, his estate sues you. In either scenario, it's probable that your weapon will have been seized and be subsequently entered into evidence to be used against you. As such, any modifications you had previously made to the gun could be relevant in the case and might affect the outcome. I'm not saying that there should never be any modifications to a defensive handgun. All I'm saying is please tread very carefully before you make any such modifications. So let's explore this a little deeper. In any civil or criminal case where a gun owner is charged with wrongfully using their firearm, there's a storyline that the defense should follow, and it's a very simple storyline. I'm a reasonably prudent person, and as a prudent person, I obtained a defensive firearm. On the date in question, the perpetrator in this case posed an imminent threat of death or substantial bodily injury to, and then fill in the blank, myself, my spouse, my children, whomever, and I used the weapon in self-defense to stop the threat. I did not want to use my firearm for defensive purposes, but in this case, I had no real alternative. That is the defense's basic storyline, and anything that deviates from or distracts from that basic story can only hurt you. So now let's quickly take a look at some popular gun modifications. Some of these are good examples. Zombie-themed custom grips. Here are some more. These are custom slide plate covers, some of which are zombie hunter themed, skulls, Hello Kitty ones, smiley faces, all kinds of crazy stuff. Don't get me wrong. Personally, I have no problem with customizing your gun any way you may see fit. But I'm talking about legal liability here. Any modification to your weapon that has a possibility of even implying that you are less than 100% serious about the defensive role of your weapon, in my opinion, is a very bad idea. Trigger jobs that lighten the force required from the factory pull. Another bad idea, at least as to defensive firearms. Even though a lightened trigger may be perfectly safe in the hands of a capable shooter, we're talking about perception in court rather than reality. Don't think for 1 minute that even if the modifications on your firearm are completely innocuous, the lawyer or lawyers on the other side won't try to use them against you. To the attorneys duking it out in court, the only thing that really matters is winning. Keep in mind the old joke. You know why Lady Justice is blindfolded? Because she can't stand looking at the lawyers. And I would take that one to heart. Any modifications which imply that you are crazy, detached from reality, bloodthirsty, or take your defensive weapon with less than 100% seriousness should be avoided. Now, you may think I'm just being paranoid, but the reality is that trials are all about assigning blame. And on the other side of the aisle may be another person who is grievously injured or dead. Some people who may be sitting on the jury may still feel sorry for them even if the shooting was entirely justified and or that they're a career criminal. Also, remember, you won't exactly be getting a jury of your peers. There won't be 12 gun enthusiasts on that panel. Maybe there'll be one or two or a few. There'll be some people who are absolutely neutral, and there may be some that absolutely detest guns and anything to do with them. As a defendant, the last thing you need is an item or any testimony that may undermine your credibility. So don't let your guns speak poorly of you. Again, I'm not completely against all modification to defensive firearms, but I believe the touchstone question for each of us before we make a modification should be the following. Number one, will the modification enhance the performance and or safety of this weapon? Second question, will a person of ordinary intelligence or lower who doesn't like guns be able to easily understand these performance enhancements? If the answer to either one of those questions is no, then don't do the modification. By way of example, this Smith & Wesson 38 special revolver is modified, and I made only one modification to this weapon. It has a Crimson Trace laser grip set put on it. And can I articulate to the average person what I wanted this modification for? Yes. This laser will allow me to get on target faster, shoot more accurately, and minimize the chances of hitting an innocent bystander. Remember that in this scenario, in a court of law, the perception is more important than the reality. Now, I have brought up this very issue in previous videos, and more than one of the self-proclaimed YouTube gun gurus have basically said I'm full of crap, none of this matters, they can't put your guns in evidence, it's character assassination, etc., etc. All I can say is that I spent years in the trenches dealing with this and related issues, so do what you will with this information. This is the Suburban Sentinel and Bella the Camera Cat saying thanks for watching. Please thumbs up and subscribe if you like what you see. Questions and enlightening comments are always welcome. Shoot safely, everybody. Say bye, Bella. Yes, you're a good girl.